Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into a really powerful way to think about gratitude and hope. And it all comes from the Apostle Paul. And honestly, it's an idea that could totally flip the script on how you see your own efforts and even your mistakes. So let's get right into it.
All right, let's just dive right in with a question that I think hits home for pretty much everyone. When you give a part of yourself, whether it's a gift or your time or just your energy, do you kind of hope for a little appreciation back? Of course, right? It's a totally human feeling, and it's the perfect starting point for this conversation.
I mean, just think about parents and their kids. Parents pour so much into raising their children, all that time, the love, the energy, and a lot of it comes with this quiet hope that someday the kids will look back and just get it? It really gets to the heart of that need we all have for our efforts to mean something to someone else. But here's the reality check. We're all human, which means things get, well, messy. Our expectations don't always pan out, we all make mistakes, and disappointment is just part of the deal. And hopefully we learn from it, right? That's the goal anyway. So if we're always pinning our gratitude on how other imperfect people respond, are we setting ourselves up for a roller coaster? Well, the Apostle Paul points to a completely different foundation for thankfulness. And believe me, it is a total game changer. What's really incredible about Paul's approach is just how deliberate it was. When he started his letters with thanks, it wasn't just him being polite. No way. It was an intentional, foundational part of his whole message. He was literally grounding everything he was about to say in thankfulness from the very first sentence. And here it is, his playbook in action. Before he gets into any teaching or advice, he starts with these two things, a wish for grace and peace, and then an immediate expression of thanks. This pattern shows you exactly what he valued most. Okay, so what was his secret? What was the source of this just unshakable gratitude? If it wasn't based on people behaving perfectly or everything going right, where on earth did it come from? It all comes down to two gifts that he believed were always on the table: God's grace, which is basically getting a favor you didn't earn, and God's peace. See, these weren't things you had to work for. They were just there. And because they were a given, they were a rock-solid foundation for gratitude, no matter what was happening around him. Now, we really got to unpack what he means by peace here. It's not just, a lack of fighting or conflict. It's this deep sense of being in sync with God, which then creates this really resilient hope for the future. It's a hope that comes from a place of knowing you're loved. Okay, that's great. But what about us? What about our own mess-ups and imperfections? How does this idea of a constant, unshakable peace square with the fact that we all, fail sometimes? And man, this is a feeling I think every single one of us knows. That feeling when you've fallen short, it can be absolutely crushing. It could just suck the gratitude and hope right out of you. If our value is all tied up in our performance, then we are on some seriously shaky ground. But Paul offers a radically different perspective. And this is the promise that changes everything. What this verse is saying is that our spiritual growth, our journey, it's not all on our shoulders to get perfect. The one who started this good work in us has actually guaranteed that it's going to be finished. So what does that mean for you and me? It means the pressure is off. Our hope, our gratitude, it's no longer tied to how well we perform. Instead, we can actually be confident in the faithfulness of the one who started the work in the first place. It's a huge shift from trying to do it all ourselves to just trusting. And that can give you incredible resilience when things get tough. All right, so this isn't just some nice abstract idea. It's something we can actually use. Let's break down how we can take this whole framework and apply it to our own times of prayer or meditation or even just quiet reflection. It's a super simple 3-step process. First, just start with gratitude. Take a moment to acknowledge those gifts of grace and peace. Second, remember that promise. The good work started in you is guaranteed to be finished. And third, let that powerful thought change how you pray. Let it shift you from a place of fear and anxiety to a place of real hope and confidence. So, that's what I want to leave you with. How would your day, your week, your whole outlook change if you really truly believed that the work within you was guaranteed to be completed? Just imagine the kind of freedom and peace that could bring. It's a powerful thought to sit with. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.